And welcome back to On Deck with the Charlotte Knights. Matt Swierad with you, and got a special guest here tonight. It's Danny Mendick, former Knights and now White Sox infielder, outfielder. Danny, good to see you. How are you?
You too. How are you? Everything's great. How are you doing?
Doing really well. Thank you. Well, before we get started talking about opening day and what opening day means to you, I want to congratulate you. You just made the Charlotte Knights All-Decade team that came out last week. And
Thank you.
just 1 year with the Charlotte Knights, but put up some great numbers, and that's terrific. Congratulations.
Yeah, well, that's an honor. I'm in good company there, so I'm honored, and it was great. It was a great year. It was exciting.
You were drafted by the White Sox in 2015 out of UMass Lowell, so 2016 was your first opening day as a professional baseball player. Does opening day have any special meaning for you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's more, you prepare all off season for something. And then when the day finally comes and the first game happens, you're nervous, you're anxious, you're excited. Opening day is the beginning of a new chapter. That's how I look at it every year. I think, opening day is, all right, what am I going to prove this year? And that's the way I've always looked at it. And opening day is the best.
Any special memories from an opening day, a walk-off win, or something big happening for you?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I try to think about that, but I don't think so. The best memories are you're finally getting with the team, and the first day with the team, and you see the guys, and you get rallied up together, and you got one goal, and that's trying to win a championship for whatever level you're at, and you guys, you most of the time you get together and become boys.
So, for you, being a 22nd round draft pick, what was it like, fighting your way up in the minor leagues? Did you feel like every year you had to prove yourself all over again?
Absolutely. I've always had my back against the wall. And to an extent, it's been a great thing. It's kind of made me into the player that I am now. I've gotten I've gotten opportunities to prove that I can battle through adversity. I think my route's been a little harder, but that's why I think it's more appreciated by myself and peers and people. I think every single day I go out there and I try to do the best that I can to help the team win. And, whatever the result may be, I'm always going to do it with a smile on my face and know that I gave it 110% and knew that, I'll leave everything on the field.
Was there a player growing up that you said, I want to be like that guy? Not, maybe not just everything about him, but the way he played, the way, he brought energy to the field. Was there a guy that kind of set an example for you?
Yeah. When I was younger, Yes Network was always on TV. So I was a big Jeter guy. Jeter was
You're not
my
the first guy to say that. A lot of people.
Yeah, I know. A lot of guys were
Jeter.
Jeter guys. The starting shortstop for the New York Yankees, pretty tough to not like. But I just always looked at it, and you watch the game every night. I watched the games on Yes Network, and it was like, man, he's always in there. You know what I mean? He's always playing. He's always, every time he gets up there, he's a tough out. He didn't, and his career numbers are his career numbers. But I just felt like he was such a good role model because guys would look up to a player like that and see that he never quit. And that was the kind of player that I wanted to be. Granted, being the starting shortstop for the New York Yankees has to be a tough job, but I think, the role and the outlook where he was just like, I'm never going to be an easy out was kind of the outlook that I got out of it.
I joke that I'm the old guy, but it just proves it right there because I saw Derek Jeter when we were both in the South Atlantic League. He was in the Greensboro Bats and committed 52 errors in one season, but we still knew he had something special in him. You could just tell when you saw him, but he made 52 errors.
Yeah, I mean, that year was a tough year for him, but talk about battle adversity.
So was the Yankees the team you kind of followed growing up?
I followed them, yeah. I mean, being from New York, like I said, Yes Network was always on TV. You had the Mets were on too, but it was always, the Yankees and Michael Kay and all that stuff. So
you're not that old when you say Michael Kay, because he's been doing it for a while, but he hasn't been doing it that long.
Well, I guess Danny, that's what I remember.
Oh, I know. You grew up in Rochester, and we talked about it last year. Your grandfather, longtime season ticket holder for the Rochester Red Wings in our league. What was it like going to the ballpark with your grandfather?
It was pretty special. I grew up going to Red Wings games and would always try to catch foul balls, would always bring my glove to the games. To say that I was playing in Rochester as a Charlotte Knight against the Red Wings was pretty surreal. It wasn't one of those things where when I'm 7 or 8, going to the ballpark thinking that it was going to happen. And being able to have my grandpa there, who's been season ticket holder forever, back when it was Silver Stadium. And it was just cool. It was a really surreal experience. I'm glad he got to experience it for my parents and family. It was just a fun weekend that we got to spend there.
How many tickets were you leaving for that weekend?
A lot. My dad actually worked it out. The GM, Dan Mason, is a really good guy. And he helped my dad out and got him in touch with someone. And, like I said, we've been there forever. The usher, I knew the usher in our row because, we'd go every Friday night and stuff like that. And it's just one of those things. It was a surreal being there and having all the people support. And, yeah, I was leaving some good tickets, that's for sure.
Is it harder in a game like that when you don't want to let everybody down? You have so many people there watching, puts a little more pressure on you.
Yeah, well, I was probably the most nervous I've ever been for a game until I got to the big leagues. But playing in that series, that was the first game. I remember I was like, man, I just want this to get going. I'm nervous. I don't know why, because I got a lot of family there. And it's not like, you play in front of a lot of people at the time, but it's not like the people that you love and know. So I did feel like there was a little more pressure, but it worked out. Went out there and just trusted my abilities, and I helped. I did just fine. So it was good.
You mentioned your major league debut. Tell us about that. You had called up from the Knights on September the 3rd, and you make your debut that night as a pinch runner against the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah.
But tell us first about being called into. Were you called into Mark Vigilanich's office? Did he call you on the phone? How'd you find out?
Yeah, so that last series we were in Norfolk, and we ended up losing that last game, which took us out of the playoffs, which was, just awful. But after the game ended, when we found out that we weren't going to make the playoffs, Vigilanic came in and had a team meeting and kind of was saying, good year, but, tough, and way to fight and do everything that you had to do. And then he was like, we got a guy that's going up to the big leagues for the first time. And, he said it was me. And it's just one of those things where honestly, it felt like a dream. I got to think about it when I was younger and always in the front yard, picturing myself hitting the ball in the World Series and the big leagues and stuff like that. And to finally get there when he said that, it was kind of, all I wanted to do was share that moment with my parents and call them and tell them, because it's one of those things where they helped me get to there, and, it was awesome.
How emotional was it? Just saying, hey, guess what? I'm going to the big leagues.
Yeah, it was. Well, it didn't kick in until we got on the bus. Once we got on the bus and we're leaving Norfolk, and I was realizing that, I was going to the big leagues, and guys were kind of telling me about the ways, and guys that have been there were showing me, different things. That's when it kind of kicked in, and it was emotional. It was I held it together because, there was guys around, but I think if I was alone and I had it, was by myself, it kind of would have broke down. I mean, all the work that you put in, I thought about, the hours that I spent hitting off the tee and the hours that I spent taking ground balls to finally pay off was incredible.
It happened for me once in my life, and it was weird because you have all those feelings, but you want to tell people. But like my friends were the ones that didn't get called up to the big leagues. I'm guessing for you too, there's some guys in that locker room that they didn't get called up, so you don't want to be too happy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot, guys in that locker room that should have, per se should have got called up, but didn't. So they're not, not happy. But you know what? I think we had a great group of guys, and everyone was very supportive of my situation, and it was great. Everyone came up to me, gave me a hug, and was very supportive. And so, like I said, we had a great group of guys, and that made it easy.
Tell us about the first major league home run. You hit 2 at the White Sox last September, but What was that first one like?
That one was pretty special. In Chicago, 3-1 count. Guy throws me a slider, kind of caught it out in front, but hit it well enough where it went out. I actually thought it was a ground rule double. So I was coming around first, saw the ball in the bullpen, and was like, oh, man, did that bounce in there? Didn't really know. And then I saw the fireworks go off, so I was like, oh, my God, it's a homer. And kind of just kept jogging around and I've said this, but I truly felt like I was kind of floating. You know what I mean? Like everything was so, a lot of people get the opportunity to hit big league homers and stuff like that, but I feel like where I came from and the odds that I came against made it a little more special, and that's why, it hit home when I was rounded second and stuff like that. It was great.
The White Sox recently lost a family member, in Ed Farmer, a longtime voice of the White Sox, former player. But he was known to be a guy that just embraced everybody. Did you have an Ed story? Did he say something to you when you got to the big leagues?
No, I didn't get a chance to meet Ed, unfortunately. And, I knew Ed through the White Sox, obviously, knew of him. From what I've heard, just all great stories, great guy. And I wish I got the chance to meet him before. I think he made a very good impact in Chicago White Sox baseball.
Danny, for you going to spring training this season, what was it like going to spring for the first time, knowing that I can make this team, I can make the big league club and be up there to start the season?
Last year I got the opportunity to go to big league camp, and I kind of took it like, I'm just going to go in there and show who I am. And I think I did that and kind of put my name on the map. And I'd be lying if last year I didn't think that I could make the team. So, going into it this year, making the team, but I kind of just looked at it as I'm going to go in there and play the baseball that I know how. And, I'm going to make it tough for the organization to send me anywhere else. I think that's kind of been my motto my whole career is I'm going to make it tough for the White Sox to release me. I'm going to make it tough for them not to send me to Charlotte, for them not to send me to Chicago. And just put all the pressure on them and then keep everything out of my hands.
How was spring for you this year before we had to shut it down?
It was good. Got to go in there. Spring is about finding your rhythm, finding your timing, getting comfortable with everything that you've worked on in the off season. Yeah, the results are nice, especially when you're trying to win a job. So per se, my results weren't fully where I wanted them to be, but I started to see the ball better, started to get on time, started to feel a lot better with my feet in the field. And, I want to be ready come, March 26th. So that's what I was preparing for. Now we're on a little bit of a hole, but, I want to be ready for opening day and all that stuff so that I can help the White Sox get to the playoffs and win a World Series.
Well, things have certainly changed right now. What are you doing with some of the free time that you have? Are you're in Arizona, so you sharing an apartment with some teammates, or what are you doing out there?
So I did. I had an apartment with Matt Skoll for spring training, and then he was here, and then he left, and he went back to Atlanta. So I've been in Arizona. I have a place to myself. Train at the facility every now and then. But, for the most part, it's just staying ready. It's trying to stay ready to go, trying to keep my body in shape. I'll play some video games, every now and then because you got to kill some time. But I'm definitely trying to stay ready and keep it so when the day comes when they say, hey, let's get it going, I'm ready to go.
Haven't started new hobbies yet or anything like that?
No new hobbies. Just, I guess, video games. Right?
Yeah,
hobby of choice.
Hey, Danny, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate it. Again, congratulations on a great year last year, and looking forward to watching you play when we do start up sometime this season.
Thank you very much.
Stay healthy out there, my friend.
You too. Stay healthy. Stay safe.
All right, thank you. Danny Mendick's been our guest here tonight, and join us again next time for another installment of On Deck with the Charlotte Dines. So long, everybody.